Hello, welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Hope you're doing well. Had a bit of time before work today, so I thought I'd bang out another video. I wanted to talk a little bit about Tyson Fury. As we know, Frank Warren won the purse bids, $41 million for the Fury White mandatory tussle. And I've always had sort of mixed feelings about Fury. On the one hand, you can't underestimate his, or overestimate probably his victories in Germany against Klitschko and the trilogy with Wilder, excuse me. And, you know, he's beaten Chisora twice, which the longer Chisora's career goes on, those two defeats, and one of them being by stoppage, where he forced Chisora's corner to pull him out, they're looking better and better. So Fury can fight. He's definitely a fighting man, but the flip side of that is that Fury is very particular about who he fights and when he fights them. This goes way back to when he was British and Commonwealth champ, and he avoided, let's be honest, he avoided David Price of all people, which seems ludicrous now, but at the time people were saying that Price was a better bet than Fury to make it at world level. Sounds ridiculous now, but how things turn out, you know. And he gave up those belts and Price picked them up, which rather makes his comments about Joshua picking up the world belts a little bit tenuous, or dare I say it, hypocritical. But anyway, and then there's the failed dope test and certain other things. You know, I'm not entirely convinced he didn't start talking excessively about mental health in order to, at least in part, cover up the failed dope test and the issue of illicit drugs and drink. But at the same time, Fury deserves a lot of credit for, you know, raising awareness for mental health, regardless of what his the agenda behind it was. He has done that, and to his credit. But the one thing that always winds me up, and it winds me up because it's actually, what I'm about to give you is not an opinion, it's a fact, all right? It's an indisputable fact. And that is that Fury has never, ever been the lineal world heavyweight champion, ever, okay? And I'll explain to you why. If you follow boxing and you understand a little bit of the history of the sport, you shouldn't need it explained to you, but I will explain it anyway. And that is that the last undisputed world champ was Lennox Lewis. Don't talk about the WBO belt, because the WBO at the time was considered insignificant. It was like the IBO nowadays. The one that unified all the belts that mattered was Lennox Lewis. And he retired, and the belts were freed up. And Vladimir Klitschko ended up picking up most of them, but he did not pick up the WBC belt because his brother held it, and he wasn't going to fight his brother. Okay? Then his brother retired. Bermain Stiverne won the vacant belt. Wilder picked it up, made 10 defences, and then Fury beat him. Now, in order to be, quote unquote, a lineage starts when there is one man standing and then the next man comes along and beats him. That's a lineage. A lineage is a destination between 2 points. There was no one man standing because Vladimir had 3 of the belts in the 4-belt modern era. He had 3 of them. Vitaly had the other one, and then Vitaly retired. But Vladimir never picked it up. He was never an undisputed champion, ever. So he was not the last man standing, even though the general consensus, and I agree with it, is that he was by far the best heavyweight in the world for many years. But he didn't hold all the belts. He wasn't undisputed. So for Fury to come along and say, yes, I'm the lineal champion now, I beat Vladimir, well, so what? Great achievement as an individual achievement, it was great. But he wasn't undisputed. So you can't then go walk around saying, I'm the only man that matters. No, you're not. Regardless of, even if you discard the whole notion of, you know, the current, Usyk's got 3 of them, Fury's got 1. Fury gave them up without defending them, which, by the way, was his own fault, no one else's fault. Even if you discard all that, you've got to have an undisputed champion in order for a lineage to begin. One man standing, another man comes along and takes over. And then if the belts become fragmented, that guy can still say, well, I'm the lineal champ because I took on the one man who was standing. Now, this is basic boxing history. And Tyson Fury is an intelligent fellow. He's very shrewd. I mean, I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him, and I couldn't throw him very far, size of the bastard. But this is basic boxing history. For Fury to talk, Fury knows boxing history. For him to talk about, oh, well, my lineage goes way back to Jack Dempsey and John L. Sullivan and absolute load of bollocks. And he knows it's a load of bollocks, okay? So whatever you think about Tyson Fury, and again, good fighter, very, very good fighter. May well be the best heavyweight in the world today. May well be. I'd like to see him fight Usyk. I'd like to see him fight Joshua, as we all would. But various things have conspired to prevent that from happening. He's not the lineal champion. There is no lineal champion at the moment. He's the WBC champ. And also, let's just to play devil's advocate, let's say he was the lineal champion when he beat Klitschko. Are we saying that Sefer Safiri and Tom Schwartz and Francisco Pianeta were defences of that lineal title? Are we saying that, really? Because that's what they would have been. Or were they non-title fights? And if they were non-title fights, who said they're non-title fights? None of it makes any sense. And that's factual. Those are facts. That's not my opinion. This is not an anti-Tyson Fury video. I mean, I have criticisms of the guy, plenty of them. Don't get me wrong, but this is not. I'm not making this video to rail on Tyson Fury. In the ring, he has proved himself. I'd like to see him fight more often. I have questions about his integrity on some issues, but good fighter. But he ain't no lineal champion. Never has been. Now, if he beats Usyk, he will be the last man standing. But he's got to get through White first, and I make him I make Fury the favourite to beat White. But White's a live underdog. White's very good on the inside, hits hard with that left hook, and when Fury is hit, he goes down. He gets up, got a lot of bottle, got a lot of mental strength, but he does hit the floor when you hit him cleanly, and White can whack with that left hook. But let's see how it pans out. What do you think? Yeah, let me know your comments below. If you're new to the channel and you could subscribe, that would be a big, big help to me. Thank you for that. Thanks for coming back. If you're not new to the channel, I always appreciate your time. You know that. Hit the like button, share the video, love the video, hate the video. Nah, if you give me your time, I'm grateful. Thanks. I'll speak to you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye for now.